Have you ever noticed how the moment you tell someone your plans, something quietly disappears? The excitement fades, the urgency softens, the dream suddenly feels lighter, weaker, less real. No one warns you about this, because we live in a world that teaches the opposite. Share everything, post everything, explain everything, document your life like it won't exist unless someone else sees it. But what if I told you that some of the most important things in your life begin to die the moment you share them, not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, and you don't even notice? Let me start with something uncomfortable. Most people don't ruin their lives through failure. They ruin them through narration. They talk too much about what they're going to do. They explain too much about who they are. They share too much about what they're healing from. They invite opinions into places that were meant to be private. And slowly, they lose something sacred. This is not a story about secrecy. It's a story about protection. There was a man. Let's call him Daniel. Daniel wasn't famous. He wasn't broken. He wasn't special. He was just normal. Early 30s, decent job, a phone always within reach, a life that looked fine from the outside. Like most people, Daniel shared things casually. When he started going to the gym, he posted about it. When he decided to change careers, he told people. When he began working on himself, he shared quotes. When he felt hurt, he explained it online in vague sentences, hoping someone would understand. And people reacted. They liked. They commented. They gave advice. They questioned him. They doubted him. They compared him. At first, it felt good. Being seen feels good. Being heard feels good. Validation feels like connection. But slowly, something strange began to happen. Daniel noticed that after he shared a goal, he felt less motivated to work on it. After he posted about progress, the progress slowed. After he explained his pain, the pain stayed longer. After he announced his plans, other people's opinions began shaping them. He didn't stop living, but he started performing. He wasn't asking himself, "Is this right for me?" He was asking, "How will this look?" And that question changes everything. One evening, Daniel sat alone in his apartment, phone glowing in his hand. He had just posted something good, a win, a step forward, and instead of feeling proud, he felt empty. He kept refreshing the screen, waiting, counting, checking, not enjoying the moment, managing the reaction. And that's when the thought hit him, quietly, honestly, painfully. I don't know when I stopped living my life and started narrating it. Nobody tells you this part. When you share something before it's solid, you hand it over. You give people permission to touch it, to question it, to doubt it, to compare it to their own lives. And even if they mean well, their voices replace your own. There's a reason some thoughts feel powerful only when they're silent. There's a reason your deepest realizations feel fragile when spoken too early. There's a reason some plans feel strongest when no one knows about them. Because silence creates pressure, and pressure creates growth. Daniel decided to try something uncomfortable. He stopped sharing. Not dramatically, not as a rule, not as a statement. He just stopped. He didn't announce his goals. He didn't explain his healing. He didn't post every feeling. He didn't update people on his plans. At first, it felt wrong, like disappearing, like being invisible, like something was missing. No reactions, no feedback, no validation, just him. And that's when he realized something frightening. Without an audience, he didn't know who he was working for anymore. So he sat with it, the silence, the boredom, the discomfort, the urge to explain himself. And slowly something changed. His goals felt heavier again, more serious, more real. Because now, failing wouldn't be public, and succeeding wouldn't be performative. It would be his. There's a psychological truth most people never hear. When you talk about your goals, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical it releases when you achieve something. So your mind thinks you've already done the work. The urgency drops. But when you stay silent, the tension stays. And tension is fuel. The same is true for pain. When you explain your wounds too early, you outsource the healing. You let other people define what you should feel, how fast you should move on, what your pain means. But some pain needs privacy. Not everything heals faster when it's shared. Some things heal deeper when they're protected. Daniel noticed something else. When he stopped sharing his struggles, he became more honest with himself. Without sympathy, without reassurance, without someone saying, "You'll be okay," he had to actually become okay. And that changes a person. There's a quiet strength that forms when you don't explain yourself, when you don't justify your decisions, when you don't seek permission to change. At first, people noticed. You've gone quiet. You don't post anymore. You don't tell us what you're doing. Daniel smiled and said nothing, because for the first time, his life wasn't a conversation. It was an experience. And here's the part most people misunderstand. Don't share anything doesn't mean isolation. It doesn't mean coldness. It doesn't mean secrecy. It means discernment. It means knowing that not everyone deserves access to every part of you. It means understanding that your energy is finite, and every explanation costs something. Think about how many times you've shared good news and immediately felt anxious. Think about how many times you've explained a dream and started doubting it. Think about how many times you've shared your pain and felt exposed instead of relieved. Some things are meant to be lived, not announced. Some progress grows best without witnesses. Some happiness becomes fragile when observed. Daniel didn't become antisocial. He became intentional. He shared less, but felt more. He spoke less, but moved faster. He explained nothing and understood himself better. There's a reason ancient wisdom speaks of silence as power. Silence sharpens focus. Silence protects intention. Silence removes interference. In a loud world, silence feels rebellious, but it's not emptiness. It's space. Space for clarity. Space for discipline. Space for real change. Daniel realized something most people never do. Privacy is not hiding. It's guarding. Guarding your momentum. Guarding your peace. Guarding the parts of you that are still becoming. Because not everything survives exposure. And here's the truth that might make you uncomfortable. The more you explain yourself, the more you teach people how to doubt you, the more you narrate your life, the more you live for reaction instead of meaning, the more you share prematurely, the more you interrupt your own growth. Some of the strongest people you admire don't talk much, not because they're mysterious, because they're busy becoming. Daniel didn't announce when things started working. He didn't post when he felt proud. He didn't explain when life got better. He just lived. And one day, someone asked him, "You seem different. What changed?" He paused, and for the first time, he didn't feel the need to answer, because the real changes don't need translation. They show. If this story feels uncomfortable, if it feels personal, if it makes you pause, that's not coincidence. It's recognition. Maybe you've been sharing too much too soon. Maybe you've been explaining yourself to people who don't need to understand. Maybe you've been narrating a life that needs to be lived instead. So here's the quiet reminder. Not everything needs an audience. Not every goal needs an announcement. Not every wound needs an explanation. Not every victory needs validation. Some things grow stronger in silence. Some versions of you need privacy to survive. And sometimes, the most powerful move you can make is to stop sharing and let your life speak for itself.